My wife decided to have her birthday party at home this year. Said she was tired of restaurants, that she wanted something personal. I should have known better. Nothing about that night was personal. It was a performance. Everyone in her family showed up early, which was already suspicious. They were usually late and full of excuses. But that night, perfect timing, matching smiles, matching lies. I stood by the fireplace in the home I paid for, in the suit I wore when I closed the deal that bought this place, watching them move through the living room like rehearsed actors. My wife's sister poured wine like she lived here. Her father whispered in corners with too much intensity for a birthday. Her brother kept glancing at me, then away, like I was a piece of meat waiting to be carved. And my wife, she floated through the room in a red dress that used to mean something to me. The same one she wore the first time she said I love you. Only now, that phrase felt like something that had expired quietly in the back of the fridge. We posed for photos. Cut the cake. The candles flickered in the dimmed lights, the air thick with frosting and forced cheer. Then her father raised his glass. A toast, he said, loud enough to command attention. His voice had always grated on me, too polished. To Shore, to my daughter, who deserves a real man, not this impostor. Silence. Thick, bruising silence. My hand didn't shake. My face didn't move. I took a sip of my wine, watching my wife out of the corner of my eye. She didn't deny it. She didn't even look at me. And then came the next cue. Footsteps from the patio. The back door opened. A man walked in holding a bouquet of red roses and a ring box, as if this was a rom-com finale and not a hostage situation dressed in glitter. He had the kind of face you want to punch before he even speaks. Smug. To smooth. His smile said he thought he was doing me a favor. I didn't blink. I looked around the room, everyone pretending not to know what was happening. I could feel it, the heat behind my eyes, the kind of fury that doesn't shout, it calculates. I stepped forward, glass in hand. Well, I said, voice steady, you guys really outdid yourselves. Nobody laughed. I smiled wider. Funny thing is, I brought a gift too, but I think I'll save mine for a little later. Dessert, maybe. Her father's eyes narrowed. My wife's hand twitched. Just barely. I raised my glass. To the show, and drank. You don't get blindsided like that unless you love someone blindly first. And God, I loved her. We met when I had nothing. A rusted-out Civic, Roman 3 nights a week, and a startup built on coffee fumes and stubbornness. She made me feel like I was already enough even when I wasn't. I bought into it. All of it. Marriage, trust, shared dreams. I believed every smile, every late night working late, every excuse she whispered half asleep. I even ignored the signs. Until the 2:03 a.m. message. I woke up because she wasn't in bed. Again. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Can't wait to see you again. Miss your skin. I didn't even know the number, just an unsaved contact. But I knew what it meant. She came back into the bedroom 5 minutes later, humming softly, pretending she had just gone for water. I said nothing. That was the night something in me went cold. Over the next few weeks, I became a ghost in my own life. Not angry, not sad, just observant. She'd tell me she was meeting her sister, and I'd track her phone showing her 30 minutes away at a hotel. She'd mention spa days with her mom, and I'd find charges from restaurants in neighborhoods her mother hadn't stepped foot in for years. But it wasn't just her. It was the smiles from her family that turned everything sideways. The way her brother would ask me how the business was doing, too curious. Her father suggesting I take a break, go on a vacation, let someone else handle things for once. They weren't just aware of the betrayal, they were part of it. So I stopped confronting and started collecting passwords, bank statements, location data, screen recordings. I even installed a hidden camera in my home office, one that captured her and the other man kissing in front of the company files on my desk. She was careless because she thought I was stupid. Because they all did. But I Wasn't. Not anymore. And the more I found, the more I realized this wasn't just infidelity. This was theft. A slow-moving coup. Her father had quietly invested in a rival startup. The other man? Not just a fling. He'd applied for a position in my company twice, rejected both times, and now they wanted him to replace me. Not just in her life. In my business. They were trying to discredit me from the inside, undermine me, take everything I built, tie a bow on it, and hand it to this pretty-faced parasite. So I smiled at them all. And kept building the archive. The day before the party, I visited my lawyer. We moved ownerships, froze assets, built contingency shells. I drafted a new contract and printed one black folder full of the truth. By the time they lit the birthday candles, I had already planned the explosion. They thought I was the fool being replaced, but I was the executioner holding the blade. The moment the fake prince stepped forward with his stupid velvet ring box, I made my move. He cleared his throat, as if about to propose. That was the plan. I assumed public spectacle, public humiliation, a ring in front of her family and mine, a silent declaration that I'd already lost. I stepped in front of him. Before you get on one knee, I said, mind if I give the birthday girl my gift? I reached under the table and pulled out the black folder, thick, crisp, labeled in white. For clarity, I opened it slowly, page by page. First page, a printed screenshot of the 2:03 a.m. text, the contact number, a timestamp. Second, hotel receipts in her name, matching dates, room service bills signed with her initials. Third, images, security footage, her hand in his back pocket, him kissing her neck in our driveway. I heard a gasp. Then another. Fourth, bank statements, payments from her father's company to the rival startup, her signature co-authorizing. Fifth, a printed copy of the new company incorporation mine filed under a private holding. Sixth, a legal cease and desist notice to the man standing beside her, outlining defamation, attempted sabotage, and a trespassing ban. Her face had gone ghost white. Her father tried to interrupt. I held up my hand. Not done yet, I said calmly. Seventh page, an email from her father to the man saying, once we discredit him, we'll take full control. You'll be the new face. He won't see it coming. Except I did, I said aloud, letting the paper fall to the floor. I turned to the man. You brought a ring, cute. Here's what I brought. I pulled out a pen and clicked it once. My lawyer's signature already sat on the final document. Severance, not from a job, from a life, a legally binding notice revoking her access to any joint assets, with surveillance evidence attached. Divorce proceedings initiated. Ownership protections filed. Her father stepped forward. Is this a joke? I looked at him, straight through him. I'm not the joke. You are. Then I turned to her. You had everything, and you threw it away for a discount version of a man and a family that feeds on control. She broke down crying. It didn't move me. I didn't ruin us, I said. You did. I just stopped stopping you. I left the folder on the table, walked to the front door. And paused. Happy birthday. Then I left. Out into the night. Alone. Free. The silence behind me was the loudest applause I'd ever heard.